Hello, everyone. I am back with a distinguished member of our board, Catherine Hatinguais, and she is a member, among other committees, of the Data Preservation Committee, which for me is of great interest because it speaks to the preservation of documents over time and for history. So, Catherine, welcome. Why don't you give us a sense of how your committee functions, and what you're doing and what you'd like to see done differently, if anything at all.
Okay, well, I joined the Data Preservation Committee about 7 years ago. Its mission is to ensure the preservation of two things: the history of the Oxfordian movement. That means usually correspondence between Oxfordian luminaries, etc., and preserving the research papers, the research notes of Oxfordian researchers. Basically, we're trying to avoid the cases of Oxfordian dying and the heirs basically chucking all the books and research out of, either ignorance or disinterest in the dump. So we are encouraging Oxfordian researchers, writers, etc., to arrange for the survival of their papers. So it could be through a will, donating those papers to a family member or friend. It could be also, of course, informal arrangement. It doesn't have to be put in writing, although it's usually better. Or donate it to the SOF, to the library that Bill Boyle is organizing in Boston, which is called the New England Shakespeare Oxford Library, which has already taken on several collections from various people, such as Dan Wright, Ron Hess, and other people who have passed away. And also, we are trying to keep the memory of past events in the movement through oral history interviews. So we've started recording interviews with a few older Oxfordians. We have started scanning the donated research papers that I mentioned above, to make sure that this is kept for future researchers, historians who might want to either, document how the movement evolved or pursue a line of inquiry that somebody else started years ago. We're also working on the preservation of websites. Once the author of a website is no longer able to take care of it, such as Hank Whittemore's, he signed a formal agreement with the SOF so that when he decides he doesn't want to take care of it anymore, his website is kept online, as is, no change.
Well, that's great. It's a very good website.
Yeah, because, there's so much information there, that it would be a pity that to lose that.
Let me just go back and stop you for a second. Let's identify some of these names. Dan White was a professor of English studies at Concordia University.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And he passed away a number of years ago.
Yes.
And there had been conferences at Concordia under his aegis.
Yes.
And Ron Hess was a researcher who died several years ago.
Yes.
Okay. And Hank Whittemore is still with us.
Yes.
He's just published a new book, a shorter version of The Monument. Let me see if I can.
Yes.
Give a plug to Hank here. The Living Record.
Yes.
Which Shakespeare's Succession and the Sonnets. Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to bring that up to speed. One question I have is, this is a repository you're putting together. Is it active? Can I, if I have a theme I want to pursue, contact you and ask for a review within your catalog, or do I have to do something else?
Well, let's say you're looking into, you have a line of inquiry and you want to look at anything that's been written on that particular topic. The simplest thing you can do is basically to go to the SOAR catalog. So it's the Shakespeare Online Authorship Resources. It has a website which you can query. It's called soarcat.com. And on this website, you will be offered the possibility to search either, like in any library catalog, by author, by subject, by title. And several entries of articles will come up. And in the best of cases, you will have a link leading you to the actual full text of that article.
Got it.
So basically, the goal for this catalog, database, search engine is to give to researchers the possibility to pull out anything that has been written by Oxfordians over the last century. There are about 8,000 entries right now in this catalog. Not all articles are available freely online, but when they are, there is a link so that you can actually go and read the article. A proportion of those entries, catalog entries, already have an abstract and excerpts, as well as subject tags. So this is where the big part of the work that is being done as a kind of a sub program of the Data Preservation Committee is to work on the SOAR catalog. Adding abstracts, adding excerpts, adding subject tags, etc.
How many people join you in that effort, either because they're members of your committee or they're volunteers?
They're all volunteers. We have 9 members, 7 of whom are active. Regarding the abstracts and tagging, I'm basically doing the job with Bill Boyle. Then
Boyle.
we have another 2 members who focus more on the oral history, writing articles for the website and for the newsletter. And other people who join as they can, they are available,
Sure.
such as Michael Dudley, and who else is there? Catherine Sharp is the chair of the committee. And I'm more or less like the secretary. I write the minutes and draft reports and stuff like that.
So if something is sent to you that's an original document, whether it's correspondence, research, or whatnot, it is potentially in fragile condition.
Yeah.
What mechanisms are in place to preserve the original document?
Well, if they send us the original document, it's usually part of a collection of papers. It's put in a box, in an archival box. It's cataloged, usually by Bill. And then as time becomes available, we start scanning those papers so that they are preserved. As you said, some of them might be, a bit fragile. So we're starting to do that right now. We haven't done much of it yet. So at least they're saved in a digital form and, don't risk to be lost, basically.
These boxes you're talking about, this is special paper or special material, I think.
Yes, typically they would be like the bank. I think they call the bank boxes,
Safety
you have
deposit
folders
box.
hanging, folders, etc. And they are in there. Whether they are acid-free in that sense, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
So
They should be. But.
are you aiming for a particular set of documents? That is to say, in these initial stages, you recognize something is missing and you'd like to fill it in? Or do you simply take in what's sent to you?
At this stage, we take in what is sent to us. We are still in the stage where we're trying to make people aware of the existence of this repository if they wish to donate it to the SOF. And not everybody wants to. Some people have family members that are interested in keeping it for another generation, and it's perfectly fine. But basically, we are encouraging people to think about the future, think about preserving what they have, and if they need help figuring out what they want to do or donating to us, then they can send it to us.
Okay. In terms of what you've gone over so far, anything pop up as being very interesting, something you didn't know before?
Personally, no. There are two things that you could say I didn't know before. Ron Hess's collection is several hundred volumes of photocopies of various books that he did obtain photocopy of over a period of probably 40 years.
Was this Ron Hess?
Ron Hess's,
Yes.
Yes. So I haven't seen that whole collection yet. I have seen the outside, but I haven't looked into it. So there may be things there that I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's also the example that Jim Warren, who is a member of our committee too, who donated the Looney's paper to the University of London, so that they are safe there. There are pieces of correspondence with the Ogburn. With Tom Renier, I don't think we have anything yet. But, we're trying to collect as people become more aware and they donate either the original, or we are perfectly happy of having just a scan and they keep the original. The idea being that we need to have the information, we don't need to have the actual physical paper.
Excellent. Has this ever been done before, first in the United States or else in England?
I don't think that the DVS has anything comparable to what we have.
The De Vere Society.
The DPC started, I think, in 2015, maybe, something like that. And it's the first effort on either side of the Atlantic to try to consolidate in one place the history of the movement, the pieces of correspondence that may throw light on that history. No, I don't think there is anything equivalent in England.
Wonderful. That's great. So regardless of when you joined the SOF, when did you become interested in Oxford or become either a skeptic or an Oxfordian?
Well, I think I became an Oxfordian in the 1990s after watching the Frontline special, like so many other people.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything about it. I was shocked. I was persuaded and shocked. I didn't do anything about it because I was, working, making a living. So it's only when I retired that I decided to investigate a bit further. And I joined Bill Boyle's endeavor with the SOAR database first. And then I heard about the DPC being created more or less at the same time. And I decided to join that. So I'm kind of working for both at the same time.
How much time do you spend a week or a month on your document work?
I would say for the DPC, at least a week, a month.
Wow.
I would say, if it's a particularly busy period when we have a lot of report and email exchanges, otherwise it could be down to 2 days a month. For the SOAR work, writing the abstracts, that would definitely be on average a week, a month. but
Well,
that really depends. I'll spend 2 or 3 weeks working only on that, and then I will stop for a month. So there is no deadline or no
sure,
compulsory rhythm to that, if
sure.
you want. No.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Anything else you would like me to know about the collection and what you're doing? It sounds fascinating.
It is fascinating. I think the amount of work that is involved in that will require many more volunteers than we have. I think we're trying to figure out a way to attract new members who have the kind of profile of librarian, archivist, writer, to help us, give us a hand, because it's really hard to do all the work that is needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one limitation that we have, if you want. There's so much work to do. We have the Bill Boyle's NESOL, which is like the New England Shakespeare Oxford Library, has just signed an agreement with the Internet Archive by which it becomes a partner library and is authorized to upload in the Internet Archive books, not articles, but books that are either out of copyright and that can be therefore downloaded freely, or books that are still under copyright, but that are called kind of orphan books, which means the author is dead, the publisher has disappeared, and they are still under copyright, so they cannot be downloaded, but they can be lent one copy at a time for a 15 days period under a format that cannot be copied or downloaded, so that people can access the information but not be able to duplicate it. And the idea is that we're going to create a library of Oxfordian books within the architecture of the Internet Archive, so that people will have access to things that are difficult to find, self-published books and older books. And so that's another project again, hence the need for volunteers, because
in your line of work, there are lots of projects, and each one begets a new project, and you look for new volunteers.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for spending time with us, with me.
You're most welcome.
And look forward to chatting with you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.